So I think most people are sitting, well, seeing how far he can take things, but then at the same point, there's repercussions how he affects people. As long as he's affecting more than the 50% in a positive way, in what they think is a good way, he's fairly secure. But if in his projections he starts being so independent, he's not seeing other people, he's going to increase the resistance again. So he's naturally geared to see this increasing the involvement of other people, increasing concerns of other people. But his nature, by the pattern type and the moon phase, is to not empower it, to not consider it. So what? I'm doing this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I'm better than anyone else. I'm unique. I'm here. I'm doing it. You're lucky you got me here. That's would be his attitude to it. And the response to that would be, some people would say yes, some people would say no. It depends how well he does it. It would be interesting to see a story of how he went to school, of how it's not really strong. So far, we haven't seen strong factors about listening to others or responding to others, just moving to affecting others. The winter, spring, summer, and fall. Winter is the smallest, summer is the largest, spring and 6, spring and autumn 4. So really, he's pretty active spring right through the summer and the autumn. In the winter, it's his low time. Cardinal fixed beetle 5, 4, 5. It's as even a mix as you can get between pushing, driving, determined, and adaptable. He has a mix of all of them. Even though his sun and moon are both immutable. How can this be? 1 second. Yeah, 5 mutable, that's right. Okay, so when we look at the fire, water, earth, 5 fire, 5 air. 1 earth, 3 water. So certainly enthusiasm, energy, and ideas. He's active, he's cerebral, he wants to put his ideas into action, but he's not practical. Not down to earth. He may think he's down to earth, he's not practical down to earth, and he's not that sympathetic about some. There's 3 points in water. But by far, the intellectualizing of the air and the acting on ideas and the burning in his own ideas, that's a strong factor there. The masculine, feminine, 10 masculine, 4 feminine. Again, more projection of his independence, of his individuality, his uniqueness, of his freedom, creative expression. He knows. Who else is going to know as well as him? Why should he listen to anybody? He's smart. He sees things better than anybody from his own viewpoint. Rulerships, the sun rules 3, moon rules 3, Mercury 3, Venus 3, Mars 0, Jupiter 2, Saturn 0. So it's getting what he wants. It's thinking. He has to keep his mind properly, or it affects 3 planets. If his values aren't correct, it has effect on 3 planets. If he's not living properly, he has his secure sense of security. If he feels secure, 3 planets are reinforced, and 3 planets reinforce his sense of pride and self-esteem and confidence. Okay, I'll keep that there. I'll bring the houses up. So with the houses, well, we want to try and look at them kind of. Okay, over here. With his houses, 2 points in values, 2 points in security, 3 points in honor, 3 points in friendship, 2 points in conscience. So its 10th and 11th house are the strongest houses and most active houses. Okay, when we look at his houses, 10 rising, he had 10 darkness increasing, which was an attitude to pushing himself to affect others more and more, to belong more and more. I'm here, I'm doing this for you, I'm the best person you've got. He still interprets it personally, but he sees his importance in terms of how it's affecting everyone else. That's the darkness increasing 10 points. But here, 10 points is rising. So he's instigating more than he's reacting. 10 points, he's instigating, he's projecting. He's almost blind. He's not really reactive to anyone. So he's projecting how he affects other people. The darkness increasing, but daylight is greater in the signs, 10 points. So he's doing it his way, and he's projecting what he thinks he knows. What he knows to be what everybody else needs. So he sees himself as the answer for everyone else's problems. Some people think he is. When you look above or below the horizon, 8 above, 4 below, so twice as much energy is in putting things out in the world and being out in the world, but it's not on the setting side, it's on the projecting, rising side and above. So he's rising to see how far he goes, to see what effect he gets, to see how far he can take things, how much he can do. What could be better than being a super business magnate? What would be a higher position than that? Well, being president would allow him to make decisions and be even a higher, more recognized position. So he drives to push it. So that's the 10-point rising without reacting to this. He's not good on responding to others. When people don't respond to him well, he just keeps rising and leaving them behind. Above them, how much he leaves behind has echoes of the 10-point darkness increasing, where there's increasing effects on others. The more people he leaves behind, the more people are affected with feeling left out or feeling done in. Above the horizon, 8-4, so by far the impetus is that 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th houses to put his energy out, to project it, to make it happen, to go for it in a functional way. Okay. In the intuition, thinking, sensation, feeling, he's got 8 points thinking, 2 intuition, 0 sensation, and sensation is the 7th, 8th, 9th house, the sensibility or ability to react or respond to others in a common sense sort of manner. He didn't have that. Feeling, 2 points. But by strong, he's thinking quadrant, thinking about status, thinking about how it can affect people, thinking about how it can rise and set things in motion so he can accomplish things and set things up so it's just, and get what he wants. And accomplish what he thinks is good for everyone. He does that. He really dramatically expresses it. Whether that's good or bad is another view. When we look at the houses, the angular succeeding cadent, angular succeeding 5 and 5, pushy, determined, not very adaptable. Around specific things, he's not very adaptable. So in putting energy out and in making things happen, if he gets interfered with, he'll maintain his course, he'll push, but he won't adapt. That's why he fires a lot of people rather than trying to adjust them. In the signs, it was more even 5-4-5, but here it's 5-5-2, and the cadent, it's a little less. It's still not going to notice that much. When you look at the houses, the self, relations, concerns, rewards, or the fire, air, earth, water houses, in the houses, there's 5 points earth concerns, material concerns, 4 points water rewards, 3 points air, 0 fire. So this is really different than it was with the signs. The signs had low in earth and water. Here it's high on earth and water. Fairly okay in communications, but not so much in action. So there's a really strong distinction between his attitudes and how his attitudes are when he's acting on his ideas, and his practical areas, his down-to-earth areas, the material sides. He has material concerns and looking for his personal rewards. So he didn't get to his position without getting some rewards for it. He didn't get to own so much money, own so many things without having some practical concerns about owning things and getting some benefits for them. Okay, I mean, we can reflect and go on these a lot. I'm not going to stay on it that much. I wanted to just go over our first points, but now, okay, we're gonna pull these over here. So we'll pull the chart over here. Now we're going to the chart. Read this coming up. Okay, just got our steps. So we've gone through our first 15 steps. Gone through the signs and the houses, and we've made associations. And between the two, we have still the same factor, the seesaw chart, the independence, trying to do everything independently and push everything over to the other side. Here's me, here's what I'm rising, here's what I'm projecting. And the moon phase really promoting his independence and his need to push things as far as he can and move away from the past, move on towards the future. So he juggles and trying to do it. He's trying to make those things happen. But who's responding? So if he has a blind spot, he sees what he thinks and how he knows he's the answer for everybody. He can't see that he may not be everybody's answer. He just sees people as if they're with me or they're against me. If they're against me, they're evil or bad or whatever. So you can see how continually his weak spot is on responding to the people who are responding to him or who he's trying to influence. He expects people to align with him to help him be more independently do what he knows they need. So you can see the same attitude if you imagine as a family man, his idea how the kids should be, how people should be. He has his ideas of how everything should be. There's not a great adaptability for other people to decide how they're going to be themselves. So if you imagine as a kid, if you're one of his kids and try to, who am I going to marry, where am I going to go? You know he's going to have to say what's right or wrong, or he's going to have his strong opinion about what needs to be done. And you're probably not going to stand up against him. Okay, so now we're going to look at, we're just going to go through the planets as we have. So we've done our kind of statistical overview consensus of the main patterns in the signs and the houses and the points and how they built up. And you could see it was fairly straightforward. The person relates to the chart, is describing the person, and you can then read that into or see that into his life, but it begins to explain a lot of his behavior. He's just being his chart. Now, if we look at his moon, moon is his sense of security, his feelings, his home, his family is down in the 4th house. He needs to have a home to feel secure. He wants to have security, but it's inside, so he wants a lot of places. But the Scorpio on that, see, I have to own it, I have to have it. But the Sag moon is a very adaptable moon. The feelings are put out to fire, to enthusiasm. I believe this, I understand this, I see this, I want this, I need that. It's very changeable. It doesn't want to be tied down or restricted.